I'm Mark, you're watching the DubbaDub Club, and today I'm counting down the top 15 non-Star Wars movies that I can't wait to show my new bestie. Let's be honest, legacy sequels kind of get a bad rap. Most people hear decades later follow-up and immediately think cheap cash grab, creatively bankrupt, just another studio trying to squeeze nostalgia for all it's worth. But every once in a while, one of those sequels does something totally unexpected. It actually deepens the story and reframes what came before. It dares to ask, what happens after the ending everyone knows and remembers? And that's why I'm so excited to show Leo number 13 on this list. Not this one. This one. Psycho 2 from 1983. Released 22 years after Alfred Hitchcock's original Psycho, this film had every reason to suck. And yet somehow, it doesn't. It doesn't try to cash in on the 20-year time jump between films by upping the ante with something even more shocking or sensational than its predecessor. Instead, it takes a completely different route entirely. Empathy, compassion, tragedy. It dares to ask, what if Norman isn't the monster we saw him as by the first film's ending? What if he's just a deeply wounded man trying his best to move forward, even if the world won't seem to let him? That setup alone would be enough to intrigue me. But then you add the fact that it's written by the one and only Tom Holland. Yes, that Tom Holland. Unless you're thinking of the new Spider-Man actor, in which case, different Tom Holland. Different Tom Holland entirely. This Tom Holland wrote Fright Night in the 80s, and also he directed Child's Play, and I believe co-wrote it. Anyway, he knows horror, and more importantly, he knows character-driven horror. And then there's Anthony Perkins in one of the finest performances of his career, and personally, I much prefer him in this than I do even in Hitchcock's original. He plays Norman with such wounded fragility that you almost forget what he once did, or at least you want to forget. The film walks that tension between redemption and suspicion, vulnerability and relapse so masterfully, and it never feels cheap, never exploitative. It's just sad and inevitable, like disaster footage unfolding in slow motion. The questions this film raises about reintegrating the incarcerated back into society, about taking responsibility for healing our own past traumas, and about whether or not we ever truly get to outgrow who we were at our worst, are heavy and worth asking, but it handles them with so much compassion and storytelling grace. By the time the credits roll, I think Leo's going to see what I see, which is that somehow, against all odds, they found a way to take Norman's story somewhere deeper, sadder, and far more human than audiences in 1960 could have ever expected.